smile reminded me of a horror movie villain. I got a really bad vibe from this guy and
Yeah, the only reason why you got a bad vibe from this dude was because he's out to smash your girlfriend. What it is, guys, it's your boy Blastphamoushd. Today we are here to check out something you guys have been trying to get me to watch for the longest time. It is more animated horror stories. It is by Mr. No Sleep. If you guys want to watch the original video, the link's in the description down below. Make sure to go check them out. Make sure to go subscribe to them. And before further ado, we off up in this mother.
It was the summer of 2018. I had recently graduated college with two of my good friends, John and Haley. John had been a close friend my whole life, and I met Haley in one of my college classes. I had a crush on Haley since I met her. She was a beautiful girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, and a small, petite figure. I always wondered what a girl like her was doing single. Haley suggested that John and I join her for a few days in New York City. She said it would be a great way to blow off some steam before we got started with our real jobs.
Oh, you hear that? She said steam. She's trying to either get a Cleveland steamer or she's trying to get the choo-choo ran on her. Definitely one of them. Hit her with the choo-choo.
John and I found really cheap airline tickets and a reasonably priced Airbnb in Midtown New York City, and we decided to go. We planned on staying for 3 nights, but little did I know, we would be back after just 1 night. We had just arrived to our Airbnb from the airport. The sun was just beginning to set on the New York City skyline. The view was incredible from the high-rise condo we were staying in. I wasn't used to big cities, so everything seemed a bit overwhelming. Since we arrived at our Airbnb, Haley had been on her phone most of the time. I asked her what she was doing, and she told me it was none of my business. I glanced over her shoulder, and before she could shield her phone, I saw the Tinder logo. I said, "Come on, Haley, really? A girl like you shouldn't be on Tinder."
Yeah, bro, you ain't know what it was. That's sad, bro. Homie don't know about female nature. Just let her do her and, get your bid in if it can fit in. You know what I'm saying?
She said, "I'm just messing around and it's harmless anyways." I told her, "You have to be careful. There's a lot of creeps on there." Who knew that those words would foreshadow what was to come? After dinner, Haley suggested we all go out. She said she knew of an upscale 2-story club downtown. I said,
"Bruh, the only reason why she went on that trip with y'all was to smash. One of y'all or both of y'all, you dropped the ball. Unfortunately not inside of her court like she planned it, so she jumped on Tinder. That's your bag. Definitely your bad."
"How do you even know of a club when this is your first time in New York City?" Haley said, "I saw some good reviews online." I said, "Sure.
This ain't her first time in New York, stupid."
I bet your newfound Tinder boyfriend said to go to this club." Haley laughed and said, "Okay, maybe you're right, but I think we should still go. He seemed like a cool guy, and if he isn't, we can just leave." I knew Haley was going to have her way regardless.
Damn.
So I didn't even try and argue with her. I said,
Damn.
"Okay, fine. We will go to this club, but if he is sketchy, we are leaving right away." The club was about a mile away, so we decided to walk. As we got close,
Oh my God, bruh, be careful, lest you mess around and end up as the dude who's chauffeuring your crush to the club to get D down by a different dude when they more than likely paid for her trip out there, bruh. Come on, son. And it's funny too, because I can't even fault the female in this, bro. She threw it at you, that's why she took y'all out there, but y'all ain't catch it what she threw, so she threw it elsewhere.
closer to the nightclub, we started to hear the bass. We rounded a corner and saw a line of about 20 people waiting to get into the club. The exterior of the nightclub was all brick and had green vines running down the side. I glanced at the club's windows and saw bright neon flashing lights. I could also make out the dancing silhouettes of partygoers. Even though there were only about 20 people in line, it seemed like they weren't letting anyone in. Every couple minutes, someone would walk up, skip the line, and go right in. I thought they must be well connected to completely skip the line to a premier nightclub. Maybe politicians or rich business owners, I thought to myself. As I was in line, something caught my eye through one of the second-floor windows. I saw someone's head pressed up against the glass. The windows were tinted, so I couldn't make out any details, but it seemed like the person was looking in my direction. I thought maybe the person was looking for a friend who was stuck in line. I glanced away and looked back at the window, and the person was gone. After waiting for what seemed like forever, we finally made it inside the club. The area was crowded, but not as packed as I thought. There were 2 bars on the right and left side of the club on the first floor. On the far end of the club, There were 2 spiral staircases leading to the second floor. The second floor wrapped around the entire nightclub and overlooked the dance floor. Haley suggested that we get some drinks before it gets too crowded. John and I agreed and followed her to the bar. As we were walking to the bar, I made eye contact with a guy on the second floor. He was leaning against the railing facing my direction. He seemed very scrawny and pale. He had a bowl cut, and his hair was parted down the middle of his forehead. I kept holding eye contact with him. As we held stares, he slowly started to smile at me. His smile got bigger and bigger. His smile got so big, I could make out every tooth in his mouth. As he smiled at me, he pointed at himself, and then he pointed towards the bar. I looked over to where he was pointing, and I realized it was exactly where Haley was standing. I looked back at him, but he was gone. Chills ran down my
What's this nigga, Batman? There's no instant transmission from Dragon Ball Z? Is that what that is? What, do you have a cloak of invisibility from Harry Potter?
Adrenaline began to flow through me like a fire hose.
This dude does look
His
like Harry
appearance
Potter.
and creepy smile reminded me of a horror movie villain. I got a really bad vibe from this guy and
Yeah, the only reason why you got a bad vibe from this dude was because he was out to smash your girlfriend.
wanted to leave immediately. I pulled John aside and told him what had just happened. John said not to worry about it and that the guy was probably just trying to mess with me. I told John this time it's different and that I know when someone is just messing around. I told John not to tell Haley about what had just happened. I didn't want her to freak out. I went up to Haley and said, maybe we should check out another bar or club. She said, no way. We just waited in line for 30 minutes. Let's at least get a couple of drinks and chill out for a bit. I thought to myself, maybe the creepy guy I saw was the same guy Haley was talking to on Tinder. I asked Haley if her Tinder guy was here. Haley said, the guy told me he was here, but he hasn't been responding to my messages. I asked Haley if I could take a look at his Tinder profile. She laughed and asked me if I was jealous. I said, just let me see his page. Haley was reluctant at first, but she finally agreed and handed me her phone. She noticed the stressed out look on my face. She laughed and said, man, this Tinder guy has you really stressed out, huh? I ignored her. After taking a look at Haley's Tinder guy, I realized he wasn't the creepy guy I saw earlier. The Tinder guy was a buff New York City firefighter. I handed the phone back to Haley, and she got in line to order a drink. Now I didn't know what to think. Was this all just a misunderstanding? Was this creepy guy just looking at someone else and not me? Maybe one of his friends? After thinking about the situation, I knew he had to have been looking at me.
You
But
jealous,
how did this
bruh?
creep know Haley, or me for that matter? As I looked around, I noticed the club was significantly more crowded. It was getting harder to move around. My mind went to Haley again. I glanced around, and I didn't see Haley anywhere. I started to get really anxious. Right before I started to panic, I saw the back of Haley's head some distance away at the front of the bar. I sighed in relief. Finally, Haley made it back to us with a few drinks in her hands. As she was walking up to us, I knew something wasn't right. Haley had a pale look to her face, like she saw a ghost or something. I asked her, what's up? What happened to you? She started breaking down crying. I grabbed her and pulled her into my arms. I said, everything's going to be okay.
Bruh. The life of an orbiter, man. Just, oh my goodness.
Tell me exactly what happened. She said, I heard some guy say my name in a really creepy voice. He said, Haley. It sounded so close, as if he was standing just a foot away from me. There were so many people around me I couldn't figure out who it was. At first, I thought it was just you messing with me, but then I saw you standing way over here. I knew it couldn't be you. All of a sudden, Haley's phone started lighting up with Tinder notifications. She began reading them and said, oh my God. I said, what's wrong? She said, read this. The Tinder firefighter guy said his account had been hacked and that all the messages that had been sent to Haley were not from him. We all agreed we needed to leave as fast as possible. We bolted from the nightclub and quickly waved down a taxi. We headed immediately back to our Airbnb. A huge sense of relief filled my body. My heart rate started to
Yeah, because your female ain't in danger of getting impregnated by someone else. But she probably is definitely impregnated by someone else. At least by now.
slow down, and I started to feel normal. I was so glad to be out of that place. We arrived at the main lobby of our Airbnb. I pressed the button for the elevator, and we all got in. I saw a Snapchat notification pop up on Haley's phone. Haley looked down at her phone, and I saw the same ghostly look come across her face again. I thought to myself, oh no, what now? She said, oh my God, I totally forgot I added the Tinder guy on Snapchat before we went out. I asked Haley if she had her location on. She said, "Yes, I do. Why?" I said, "That creep knows where we were staying and knows we are right." Before I could even finish my sentence, the elevator doors opened and my heart dropped. Right in front of us was the same creepy guy at the nightclub. He was staring right at us, that same fanatical smile across his pale face. He said, "Why did you guys leave in such a hurry? We were just starting to have fun."
That's bullcrap. You mean to tell me there's an unarmed dude standing in front of me with no gun or knife and he just gonna talk some shit? Word? I would love to say that that's not a situation I've had to deal with before, but I have. And it has always been hilarious at best, or at least. It's so funny. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, and or subscribe. I will be checking out more horror stories, but I'm gonna check out one of them. That way, if you guys wanna watch the rest of them, you gotta go to Dr. No Sleep's channel. The link will be in the description down below. But if it's not, you know, Dr. No Sleep. Make sure to go subscribe to him. It's your boy Blastphamoushd. Twisms.